Hello, folks. This is Blind Adam with the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast. It is September 18th. I have no clue how the hell that happened already. I'm going to be doing an interview with Arlen Schumer in a few minutes. Arlen Schumer, www.arlenschumer.com. Going to be talking to him about his upcoming lecture about using comics at the 92nd Street Y. Coming up next Thursday, September 24th. Gonna give him a call in a couple of minutes to do the interview. Gonna talk to him about his comic Captain Israel. Gonna talk to him about the Flintstones because I was just watching a very interesting lecture he did on the Flintstones. It clicks as, while we're waiting to do that, I'll share one little news tidbit that I found, thanks to my news source, comicsheatingup.net. Anthony, thank you so much. Once again, for all your comic book speculating needs and or wants, comicsheatingup.net. It looks as if, Greg Berlanti, will be, like he doesn't have enough on his plate already with The Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl. We'll be doing a live-action movie featuring Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. It's going to be a comedy, buddy cop movie, which seems awesome. So I have this feeling if they're going to do Booster Gold / Blue Beetle, it will be the Ted Kord Blue Beetle. So the Total Justice League International run seems to be getting a lot of love in other media. Maxwell Lord will be on Supergirl. Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, gets their own movie. That's kind of interesting. It would be cool to have seen them say I got Arrow or The Flash or Supergirl, but this is interesting. So it's going to be interesting and fascinating. Get your copies of Booster Gold #1, which is Booster Gold's first appearance. They're already starting to pop. Up in price. Blue Beetle, his first appearance was in, crap, I have to look that one up. Damn, I forget it off the top of my head. Alright, let's see what time it is.
10:51 a.m.
Alright, it's almost time to call Mr. Schumer. But as always, rocking the Scores hat. Scores is the official gentleman's club of the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast. ScoresNY.com. Once again, that's ScoresNY.com. West 28th Street between 10th and 11th Avenues. Great place to hang. If you need a cosplayer, you can definitely go there. Talk to one of the girls, get them in a Harley Quinn or a Supergirl costume. Great place for lap dances and soda pop. Divorce parties, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties. Maybe you can even do weddings there. But it's a great place. Please tell them the Blind Adam sent you. ScoresNY.com. Thank you for being a sponsor of the podcast. I love you guys. If iPhone never wants to fucking work.
10:52 a.m. Open camera. Unlock. Button. Unlock. Phone. All contacts. Mobile. Text field. FaceTime. Mobile. Text. Button. Call. Button.
We're all set to call Mr. Schumer right now. Sorry for the couple minutes of silence. We are gonna learn today Gonna learn today. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
FaceTime. Call. Button.
Hey, Arlen, how are you? Good morning. So, what's new in your world, sir?
What's new in my world? Oh, where do I begin?
Yeah, well, it seems like you're a very busy man as of late.
Yeah. I'm gearing up for next week's Jews and Comics thing at the 92nd Street Y. I think I sent you an email with all of my upcoming,
Yeah, I
things.
did. I looked at it.
Yeah. And then after that, the very next day, I drive down to Baltimore and I lecture on the Silver Age and the Spirit.
Nice. You're gonna have a good time in Baltimore.
Yeah, go on.
And actually, fortunately, not. I have my brother's wedding all next week, so this will be the first time since Baltimore's inception that I will not be going.
Okay. There'll be other things.
Yep.
And then let's see, then October I'll be at the New York Comic Con, but only with a table selling my book. Those idiots rejected me lecturing for them twice in a row, Adam. Last June and this fall. And I've been lecturing for them since 2007.
And you know what? I don't know what their problem is this
Here's
year.
the thing, Adam. Out in San Diego, my lectures get rated best, panels in San Diego. And yet here in New York, they reject me.
Nah, it's because
Twice in a row now.
Reed is a bunch of idiots. That's the whole thing.
Oh, and by the way, they charge me full price for the table, $1,300.
Wow.
And like I said, here I am. I've lectured for them since '07. They charge me full price, no discount, God forbid. But they reject me lecturing for them.
Hey, at least they return phone calls to you. I can't even get a phone call back from them to tell me that they're sold out.
I'm just saying, I'm done with them. I'm really done with them.
No, it's the feeling.
I emailed them like, how could you reject me? And one of the guys writes me back, oh, Arlen, don't worry, you'll be lecturing for us in the future. And I wrote back to the guy, what makes you think I'm going to keep, asking you to let me lecture after you've rejected me? Like, I love how they just think, well, in other words, like, I should just keep applying to lecture. Don't worry, Arlen, in the future you'll be lecturing for us. Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, it's a weird company because even for retail and for podcasting, it's
They're so bottom line read exhibitions. They don't give a fuck about comics. They're only in it for the money. And listen, I assume you've never been to San Diego.
No, I've been there. I've been there. The last time I was there was 12.
Well, then you know what the programming's like in San Diego. There's nothing like it.
Nothing in the world.
Every hour, there's like 25 things you wish you could do. So imagine my lectures in San Diego get rated the best, and yet New York Comic Convention rejects me.
They're just baffling between that. I actually know 2 A-list celebrities who got rejected this year from being guests.
Well, all I know is, and like I said, and then on top of it, they charge me full price for the table. So they take my money, and they don't even let me lecture. So I'm really done with them. That's it.
Yeah, so let's get back to the Jews and Comics thing, because you got me hooked on watching your lectures on YouTube. I just found one on the Flintstones that if I didn't stop watching, I would have been late calling you.
Boy, man, I did that so long ago. That's when I was still using slide projectors.
Actually, I learned some stuff about the Flintstones. I'm going to go back and watch the whole thing. I looked at the clock and I was like, oh crap, I got to do an interview.
Right. Yeah, so the Flintstones lecture held up?
Yeah, I was really getting a kick out of it.
Yeah. You know what I liked about it when I used slide projectors? I don't know if you noticed, but I had 2 projectors set up next to each other, side by side, So it was like projecting double-page spreads from a book.
Nice.
If you notice, one image would project on the left and another image would project on the right.
Sweet.
Did you notice that?
Kind of.
Yeah, I'm saying if you go back to look at it again. Oh shit, somebody's calling me out. Hold on a second.
All right. Okay. Just give me one of those. For all your pizza eating needs, please go to Sal's Pizza Corner, 71 West Main Street, Ramsey, New Jersey, 07446, 201-327-8929. He is home of the nice slice, Joey's Slapnuts, full price menu, the return of the lunchtime specials for all the high school kids, great food.
201-380-4762. Newton, NJ.
Who the hell do I know in Newton? I have no clue who the fuck I know in Newton. I just love doing this type of stuff, man.
Adam?
Yo!
Oh, thanks for holding. Yeah, that was an important thing I couldn't get out of.
Yeah, that's fine. I got to do some, this way the sponsors get their money's worth.
Yeah. Anyway, so what's up?
Alright, so basically, I watched your part one of the lecture on Jews and comics, and I was very, very, very fascinated by it. Did not get a chance to watch part two of that yet. And so let's see. You said that Spider-Man was Jewish, and I found that fascinating because I always found him more.
Well, hold on a second. What do you mean I said Spider-Man was Jewish?
Basically, you were saying that, like, all right.
Well, when I say that, I'm saying it in quotes, meaning none of these comic publishers, none of the writers overtly said they were Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
It really wasn't until about 10 years ago that they made a big deal about how they're making the thing Jewish. Remember that?
That I do remember.
Yeah, but what I think I meant, if I'm just recalling my home lecture, is that, they were Jewish. Seinfeld, the TV show?
Mm-hmm.
All of those characters are basically Jews. The only one that ever actually mentions Judaism is Cherry himself. But, Elaine Bennis, George Costanza. I mean, everything about George is Jewish if you know the Jewish sensibility. Except they felt to do a mainstream national TV show, they couldn't make all the characters overtly Jewish. So they knew Jerry with his name Seinfeld, and, he's the lead show. So they made him Jewish, and every once in a while he would mention something about Judaism. But Kramer, the name Kramer is a Jewish name, but he never once said anything about Judaism. Elaine, yeah, they gave her the name Bennis, Benes, which who knows what the hell that is. But she had a Jewish sensibility, but she never actually said anything about Judaism. And George Costanza had a Jewish sensibility, the Nevish, which is what Peter Parker was. But, they never, again, overtly made him Jewish. And the name Costanza, if anything, is Italian.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah.
The point is, this is the sort of overall story about Jews in American culture. If that they created the American culture, the American pop culture, but because of the overt anti-Semitism in this country, well, some of it's overt and some of it's not overt, Jews are taught to kind of keep your head down and don't be so strong, don't be so overt. So Jews have learned in the media to kind of cover their Judaism up. But what they can't cover up is the sensibility. So the sensibility seeps out, and this gets back to Spider-Man. In other words, when you say Spider-Man is Jewish, what you mean is he's got the sensibility of Judaism, which is a whole conversation unto itself, what that means, the Jewish sensibility. But the point is they couldn't make the characters overtly Jewish. And this is why Jews changed their names. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But because of the anti-Semitism in the world, not just this country, Jews, especially in this country, were taught to get along and to assimilate. So when you assimilate, you change your name. But like I said, you can't help the Jewish sensibility coming out. And you see that in Seinfeld. Let me give you another example. Remember the TV show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Very fondly.
Okay, Will Smith, right?
Yep.
It's about a black kid that gets in trouble in Philly, and then he's sent to
Philly.
L.A. to live with a wealthy black family in Beverly Hills. Which, by the way, that almost sounds like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Black family, right? But that's a whole other story. The point I'm trying to make is that was based, the guy who created that show based it on his own life. He was a black kid who got in trouble in Philadelphia, and he's sent to L.A. to live with a wealthy white Jewish family. What does he do when he goes to make the show? They change the white Jewish family to a wealthy black family. You like that?
Yeah, I do. Just because it kind of, gets rid of gets rid of another stereotype in a way in media that,
No, I'm saying that sarcastically. I don't like that.
Oh, I know.
Meaning, that's not the truth. The truth is a wealthy white Jewish family helps a black kid straighten out. That's the truth. The bullshit is Fresh Prince from Bel-Air, the TV show, which changed it to a wealthy black family. Which is not the truth.
Okie doke.
What?
I said okay. Because
I'm just saying, I happen to feel that I wish more Jews in the media would stand up for their Jewishness and not submerge it or hide it. Guys like Steven Spielberg don't hide it. You know what I mean?
yes.
He financed that Shoah project, which films Holocaust survivors all around the world to document their experiences before they die. I'll never forget, I saw Gary Shandling on a late night talk show once. I think it was Jay Leno, maybe. No, it was Letterman. I watched Leno. Now, I'll never forget, Letterman happened to mention in passing something about that Shandling was Jewish. Shandling's reaction when Letterman said that was like a gay man being outed on national television.
Wow.
Follow me?
Wow.
In other words, his reaction when Letterman mentioned it was almost aghast, like that he had exposed him somehow. And I thought that was disgusting on Shandling's part to react that way.
Wow, I do not. I'm gonna have to search for that on YouTube and watch it.
Yeah, good luck. I hope you can find it.
No, if I do, I'll email it to you.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, a very, very fascinating lecture. I did not know that how many, comic book creators were Jewish and how many of them actually changed their names.
Yeah, and yet some of them didn't. Look at Will didn't have a name, his name wasn't Yaakov Kurtzberg.
Yeah.
It was Will Eisner. Already sounds anglicized practically. Eisner isn't like Kurtzberg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, other Jews did not. Look at Harvey Kurtzman. He didn't change his name. Al Feldstein.
No.
So there were, but Bill Gaines, his real name was Ginsburg.
See, I thought that, I suspected that for quite some time. I thank you for confirming that for me.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the thing, Jews, and look at Gene Colan. The guy died a couple years ago. He waited until he died to reveal that his real last name was Cohen. Adam, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I actually found that fascinating too. Was making sure I did not step on something real quick. That's all. When I put my foot down. Yeah, very, very fascinating stuff. Can you explain a little bit more of the golem story to me, please?
Say that again?
Can you explain the golem story that you've...
The what story?
The golem?
The golem, right?
Can you explain it to me? Explain it to me as if I'm like 5 years old, so I understand it a little bit better.
The golem was an old Jewish legend from Czechoslovakia in Prague. There's a famous Jewish section of Prague with an old Jewish synagogue. And just like all the Eastern European countries, they all used to have large Jewish populations until, of course, the Holocaust, when Hitler, killed them all.
Mm-hmm.
So Prague used to have a really big Jewish community, and it had this big old Jewish temple, and it had a famous rabbi named Rabbi Love. It's pronounced Love, but it's actually Loew, but it's pronounced Love. Anyway, during the 17th century, I think, the Gentile communities would have what they call pogroms. Pogroms, pogroms, which were like, I guess it's a Polish word or maybe a Russian word for riots. And what would happen is every now and then, usually it would happen during the Gentile holidays, the Gentiles would get drunk. And then because the Gentile holidays were celebrating Jesus, and they felt that the Jews killed Christ, here we are 2,000 years later, Jews are still being blamed for the death of Christ. Not that God killed his own son and used the Jews and the Romans as puppets to do it, but the Jews killed Christ. That's the source of all anti-Semitism,
Very true.
It starts from there. So the point is usually around Easter, Christmas, all the big Christ holidays, the Gentiles would riot and go through the Jewish communities and rape, rob, and pillage, and murder. And this happened in Russia, this happened all over Eastern Europe for centuries. And the reason why there's so many Jews in America, not so many Jews, the reason why so much Jewish immigration came here in the late 19th century and the early 20th century is that there were some really bad pogroms in Russia in like 1904 in the Ukraine, like 1896 somewhere. And those pogroms were so bad that it created all the Jewish immigration that came to this country. And those immigrants and their children were the people that created Hollywood, were the Jewish publishers that created comic books. So if it wasn't for the hatred and anti-Semitism in Europe, America would not have movies, television, or comics. You like that?
That is awesome sauce.
So, where was I? So, back to the golem. So, Rabbi Love, according to the legend, in order to help the Jewish people, created a being out of clay. And the word golem or golem in Hebrew, I think means clay or earth or something like that. And by inscribing the letters, the Jewish letters that spell the word emet, it means truth. The word emet means truth. And somehow, magically, by inscribing those letters on the golem's forehead, it came to life. Now, it didn't have a mind, it didn't have a soul, but it was this big, giant, Hulk-like, character. And with the instructions to go out and protect the Jews. So, according to the legend, the golem goes out and protects the Jews from the pogroms. But because the golem doesn't have a mind or a soul, it starts killing the Jews as well as the Gentiles.
Oh, wow.
So Rabbi Love has to put the golem down, and the way he puts him down is when you remove the F from Emet, the first letter, the word met means death. And he puts the golem down, and according to the legend, in this Jewish synagogue that is still in Prague, somewhere up in the attic somewhere, according to legend, the golem is, buried. Now, that was a legend that grew, and a century later, in the early 19th century, 1812, Mary Shelley writes the story of Frankenstein. Now, whether she knew about the golem legend, didn't know, I'm assuming somehow, either unconsciously, subconsciously, or overtly, if you look at the story of Frankenstein, about a scientist bringing, a guy to life.
Yep.
It's the same story, except it's de-Judaized and anglicized. So instead of a rabbi, it's a scientist. And you see, this is a model for how Jewish culture has been transformed into generic culture. So, of course, the whole theme of the golem is that only God can create life, you see?
Yeah.
When man tries to create life, what happens?
And ends horribly.
Right. And that's really the whole point of the story, and that's the point of Frankenstein. But think about it. If I'm correct, that the golem is what really is behind the Frankenstein story, then the entire horror genre of monsters in this country comes from a Jewish legend.
Sweet.
See, and then I invoke the golem because the idea of a Jew wanting to create a hero to save them is a very Jewish idea. And it goes back to all the original superhero creators, which is really what my lecture's about.
Mm-hmm.
Siegel and Schuster, guys like that, were all either subconsciously or unconsciously wanting to create heroes to save the Jews from, if you look at the 1930s, the rise of fascism and Nazism.
Yep.
And then you go back to Jesus' time, where under the boot of Roman occupation, the whole idea of a Messiah is really about a hero coming to save the Jewish people.
That is true.
If Jesus is the first superhero, also created by Jews.
You know what? I've never thought of it that way until just right now.
That's why you gotta come to my lectures.
I will.
Get other people to come.
Actually, I want everyone to come to your lecture on the 24th at the 92nd Street Y.
I thought you said you can't make that.
I can't, but I want everyone who's listening to my podcast to come.
It's funny with the Y, they're really keeping an eye on how many people I bring because I kind of hinted I'd like to do more for them because they're a very respected institution. But they let it be known to me, like, Arlen, let's see how this one does. Meaning, they want to see what kind of an audience I can pull. If I can show them I can pull a nice crowd, maybe they'll let me do more stuff. So, yeah, so the more people, the merrier,
Yeah, definitely. I love you. I love your lectures. I love your book. So
Thanks, man.
whatever I can do to help out,
Yeah, listen, we're all here to help each other, right?
Yeah. You know, how did Connecticut go for you? I mean.
Yeah, Connecticut went well. Sold a few books, and everybody liked the lecture. And last week, I was in Newark at that Newark Comic Convention. That went well. And like I said, so next week, and then Baltimore Comic Convention. And then I think in October, I've got an art show.
Yeah, you got that's that one in Connecticut, right?
Comic Convention. I have an art show in Westport where I'll be lecturing. And for now, that's really all I have planned. I have nothing planned in November or December. Those are wide open, so.
No, actually, I think Carbonero's got a convention in December.
Yeah, but I'm waiting for him to like formally invite me. I mean, he's a real flake. I've emailed him, he never responds, so I don't know what his story is.
Nah, like I said, he's a weird cat, but I do love the guy, so, let's see, you created a comic book called Captain Israel?
Yeah, now that was created, I created the character back in 2002 during the second intifada by the Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting in my studio wondering how can I help Israel? I don't really have the money, to donate. But I thought to myself, Captain America was created by two Jews in 1941, a year before America enters the war, to try to elevate the consciousness of America, which was very isolationist in World War II, before World War II. America didn't want to fight what they call Europe's war. And they certainly weren't going to fight a war to save the Jews, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Joe Simon, whose real first name was Jaime, and Yaakov Kurtzberg, who of course is Jack Kirby, create Captain America in the spring of 41, a year, like I said, almost a year before America enters the war. And Captain America is an overnight success, and they dress up actors to stump for war bonds, which is what the first movie paid homage to, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
That was based on reality. Anyway, I thought to myself, if two American Jews can create Captain America, one American Jew can create Captain Israel. So I create Captain Israel 2002. I send him around to all these Jewish organizations, and nobody wants to touch it. I'm not really what I call an organizational Jew. I've never been a part of any of these organizations or a synagogue or anything. I'm kind of just an independent, wandering Jew, as they say. And but one organization called Stand With Us responded with an email, and they were brand new. They had been formed in 2001, I think. Anyway, they expressed interest out of all the Jewish organizations I contacted, but then I never heard from them. And then 8 years pass. All of a sudden, in 2010, I get an email out of nowhere from the Stand With Us guy saying, Arlen, we're ready. We would love to do Captain Israel. So I met with them, and we ended up doing 2 issues. The first one was 8 pages. The second one was 12. The first issue was about just sort of the story of how Israel came to be in comic book form. And then the second one was about the current BDS movement, which means boycott, divest, sanction, which is what the pro-Palestinian groups are trying to do to Israel, but which we believe is just a current form of the same old anti-Semitism.
Oh, wow.
And, but then after that, I had a falling out with Stand With Us over the direction that Captain Israel should take. So I haven't really done anything with the character since. But out of it, I developed, this lecture about Jews and comics. So that's how that happened. And I still own the character. He's my character. So if anything ever comes up again, I can do whatever I want with Captain Israel. But, if I found another Jewish organization that was interested, I would do something with them.
No, that's fascinating. Are the 2 issues of are they still in print, or
What?
are the 2 issues still in print?
I think issue 2 is still available. If you go to, I'll send you a link, Adam. If you go to their website, let me send you that link right now. And I think you can still buy. I think they're like $1 a piece or something. email right now with those links.
That's awesome. Thank you. Because like I said, I like comics like that are educational. They're very rare, and
Yeah.
I just find it fascinating. And I want to check it out.
Yeah. What else?
Let's see So how did your spirit lecture go?
The what?
How did your lecture on the spirit go?
Went well. It was my first time doing it, and what did I say? And then I'm getting to do it again in Baltimore at the end of the month, so I'll get to polish a few little things. After you do it the first time, you see things that need to be tightened up or edited or whatever. So I'm looking forward, to doing it again. I refer to the spirit, my lecture, as a master class on Eisner using the spirit as its primer.
Nice.
Because, that's how I feel about it, is that if a guy like D.W. Griffith is considered the father of film because of he innovated all the devices of film, like dissolves and cuts and pans, all the things that we take for granted now in film. They're attributed to D.W. Griffith, one of the early film directors of the 20th century. So Eisner, to me, is the D.W. Griffith of comics. Basically, if you look at the spirit and when he did it in the 1940s, nobody was doing things in comics. There was some nice illustration, like Dick Sprang and Lou Fine, and, guys like that, as I call them, the usual suspects. But it was basically, the usual 6 panels to a page,
Yep.
and that's it. So if you look at what Eisner does in the spirit, especially the post-war spirit, from, 1946 to 1950, I mean, he basically lays out the entire language of comics. Everything that people are doing. In other words, nobody's done anything that Eisner didn't do first. You look at guys like Jim Steranko and Neil Adams and guys who really did cinematic panel breakdowns and page layouts. Nothing they did you can't find in Eisner. The mixture of photography with comics. Eisner did it first. Before Kurtzman. Before, Steranko, obviously.
Nice.
So that's how I approach my spirit lecture, is I try to demonstrate why it's the primer. I mean, all of Eisner's work is the primer, but if you just took the spirit, you could teach everything you want to teach about comics through the spirit.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping I can get a videotape and all that, but it's always difficult. The conventions, they don't supply anybody videotape, and it kind of sucks.
Unfortunately, they don't.
Yeah, so that's what's happening with Spirit.
You get someone with an iPhone to do it.
What?
Get someone like an iPhone or cheap.
Yeah, but that doesn't work. Watching it for like a whole hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true that. Yeah. Let's see that. And then I had a quick question. Just because I was watching an episode or two the other day. Let's see. The whole George Reeves death. Do you think it was death or suicide?
Did you see the movie Hollywoodland? It came out 2006.
I still have to see it.
You should go see it. It's a great film. Try to find it on Netflix, whatever. It really lays out the whole George Reeves story. I don't really want to give away too much, but basically, all the evidence points to kind of 50-50. Either he killed himself or he was murdered. And I don't think to this day they really ever resolved what really happened.
Wow, that's fascinating.
But like I said, I'd rather you see the movie.
I
The
will.
movie kind of lays out, the whole thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, you should see it, and then we can have a discussion.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Talking, you know what I mean? I don't want to give away too much, but it really is a great film.
All right,
I think it's one of the best films, believe it or not, of this millennium so far.
all right,
Ben Affleck plays George Reeves, and he's great in it. And great ensemble cast, Bob Hoskins, Diane Lane. It's really a great film.
All right, I'll watch it, and then we'll have a conversation. Yep. Like I said, I'll watch it, and then I'll have you back on sometime in the future and have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Anyway, Adam, I just sent you the Stand With Us thing.
Beautiful. And last but not least, since you're the captain of the Silver Age history, where do you think the Silver Age actually started? Did it start with Detective Comics, the first appearance of Martian Manhunter, or The Flash?
It's always going to be considered The Flash. Even though there were a few little one-offs like Martian Manhunter, it was in the ether in the mid-50s to bring back the superhero. If you look at what Marvel or Timely does, a year before The Flash, in 1955, they do bring back the Submariner and Captain America as commie hunters, commie smashers. But, unlike The Flash, they bring the characters back looking exactly the same. What makes The Flash unique, and is considered the beginning of the Silver Age, is the fact that he was not the original Flash brought back. The fact that he was revamped in a new costume with a new identity. In my lectures, I talk about how we use the word reboot a lot these days. Things get rebooted.
Yep.
Which is really a computer term for, rebooting your computer. But if you look at American pop culture, the first example of a reboot is really The Flash.
Oh, wow.
The Timely stuff failed the year before. It was the fact that it was The Flash in a new identity that caught fire. And you gotta listen, it didn't really catch fire. They don't give The Flash his own comic until 1959. So the first showcase appearance is 56. Between 56 and 59, he's in 3 more issues of Showcase. That's it. But, it gathered steam. For whatever reason, everybody looks at The Flash as the beginning of the Silver Age.
Yeah, I even forgotten about the commie smasher stuff, because,
Yeah, in my lecture, I kind of show that, that's kind of what happened, and, it didn't really take hold. So there was something about The Flash that did it, and I'd like to think it's because the fact that it was a rebooted character.
Cool. Let's see, that takes care of that. And, so, what would you, for anyone who's never seen one of your lectures before, what would you say they're in for?
Well, I don't think they've ever, unless they've seen me before, they've never seen anybody lecture about comics the way I lecture about comics. First of all, the word lecture, it sounds like a pejorative. It's a very negative word, because it sounds like you're being lectured at, I've been trying to brand what I do with the word visual lecture by putting the word visual in front of lecture, and they share the letter L, the last word of visual, last letter of visual, first letter in lecture. I'm trying to let people know my lectures are not what I call your father's art history lectures. They're not these boring, people associate a lecture with a boring presentation, with the images, clunk, clunk on the screen. My lectures,
Definitely not boring.
I keep them moving, a lot of imagery. I take as much time with the images as I do with the verbal part. But I've seen people lecture about comics my whole life, and they're boring.
90% of them.
I say without as objective as possible, nobody lectures about comics like I do, period.
No.
And I know I'm the best at what I do because I've seen everybody's lecture. They all suck compared to me. So the best thing to tell people is, you have never, I try to say in my promotional stuff, you will see comics like you've never seen them before. I make them come to life.
And the thing I like is, from the minute I turn the lecture on YouTube, you start off with the music.
Yeah, listen, what I do, I call edutainment.
And you do it very well.
Everything that I do has a lot of information, a lot of content, and I'm really teaching while I'm talking. It's a form of teaching. So, but yet I try to keep it entertaining so that you'll actually pay attention and maybe learn something. When we think back to the teachers we loved in school, why do we love them? It's because whatever they taught us, because they loved what they were teaching, their passion and enthusiasm for the material came out. And that's how you learn, because that's how information gets communicated. So I'd like to think, my enthusiasm and wanting to make it entertaining. So, I wear my Superman cape. I try to make it as lively and fun. But at the same time, I'm showing you a lot of images, and I'm talking about a lot of heavy-duty ideas. But I keep it moving. I try not to be boring. I try not to be too academic and use a lot of academic jargon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, what you don't.
Yeah, so I try to keep it, very, what do you call it, mainstream, so that, I'm not preaching to the converted. I try not to get too comic booky. I try to just, keep it on a level that everybody can get it.
You do a good job. Case in point, the whole Flintstones thing I was starting to watch before I said, okay, I have to do a podcast now. For me to get that engrossed, I really was. I did not even realize that there was that whole 2-minute pitch pilot that they had until you brought it up. So I even, like I said, I always thought that the main influence on the Flintstones was the Honeymooners, and then you talk about all these other influences that I didn't even know about. I was like, that's awesome. I always come away from your lectures learning something.
Well, that's the best thing I could hope for.
And as far as your Silver Age lectures and stuff like that, it makes me want to go seek out a lot of this stuff.
Well, that would be great. In my book itself, I have a bibliography in the back that, in other words, allows you, if you like the comics that you've seen in my book, here's all the hardcover reprint collections, the back issues, or whatever. So yeah, that's the whole idea, is that you hope people will take what you lecture about and, discover more in depth.
That's sweet. Will your Twilight Zone book ever be put back into a publication?
I'm trying to bring that back into print. I'm waiting to hear from an art book publisher that's starting up a pop culture imprint. I'm hoping that they want to do the Twilight Zone book, but I'm starting to get a vibe that they're not interested because I haven't heard from them.
That's a shame.
I'm not sure what to do at this point.
That's a shame, because that's a great book.
I would love to bring the Twilight Zone book back out, but I don't know what's going to happen with that. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted.
Yep, and I've actually, since our last chat, I've actually started to watch a few more eps, and, starting to get appreciation for the show all over again. And with that, my friend, I think I talked your ear off long enough.
Okay, man. This is always fun, Adam.
And,
listen, you take care. I'll see you when I see you. So when am I going to see you next? Are you going to be at the New York Comic Convention?
That's my home show, so I'll stop by and say hello.
Yeah, come find my table. I think I'm booth number 1345.
1, 3, 4, 5, or I'll.
Yeah, and it's pretty noticeable. I think it's by the small press area.
All right.
But whatever, you'll see me there.
Yep, definitely. I'll catch you there. Like I said, unfortunately, I had a bunch of family obligations.
See you. Have a great weekend, and keep in touch, and I'll see you soon.
All right, great, Arlen. You take care, buddy.
Okay, man.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Contact, end call, but end call. All contact alert. Password incorrect. Enter voicemail password.